Hare Krishna, everybody. So, welcome to the Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is a special class because I've prepared to present on the sacred forests of Vrindavan, Parikrama. A lot of the devotees are traveling to Vrindavan right now, and they're actually in the Puri Jagannath as well as Vrindavan Yatra. So I thought it appropriate that those of us who are in separation from the Dham can connect with the Dham by hearing about it. So I'll just start briefly. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I take the blessings of all of you Vaishnavas, of my spiritual master, of all my Shiksha Gurus, of Srila Prabhupada, the previous Acharyas, as well as Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shriman Mahaprabhu, Shri Lakshmi Narsimhadev, for allowing me to present on this topic. So, Mataji, if you can put the presentation. Also, can I borrow the clicker, if it's okay? Clicker, can I have the clicker for the presentation? So while we are getting set up, I was curious, how many of you have been to Vrindavan? Nice. Okay, so Vrindavan is actually with the face of Krishna in the entire Vraj Mandal. So Vraj Mandala is a mandala. It's actually a collection of at least 12 forests. There are 60 billion places of interest, of importance in Sri Vrindavan Dham, and the whole area is called Rajmandal. So today I'll be talking about 4 of those forests out of the 12 main forests that constitute the sacred forests, where the main pastimes of Radha, Krishna, and the Gopas, and all the different, killing of demons, worshipping of the deities, and devotees coming and praying, all that have taken place in these sacred places. So that is why it is important for us to understand what is the entrance of, what is the mood of entrance into these places. So, can I have the... Okay. So, as you can see, this picture, beautiful picture of Krishna along with his cowherd boyfriends roaming into the forests. So right when Krishna was a little boy, all the way till he grew up, in Vrindavan, and then before he went to Mathura, he was always in a playful mood. That is how God is. He's very playful and joyful, and in the company of his associates that have come with him from the spiritual world, he likes to enjoy in these places. He's not a God who's there to, actually fulfill desires, material desires, or to, kill demons even. That is a secondary aspect of Krishna. But the main aspect of Krishna is to have fun. And that is the natural proclivity of all individual souls in this world, because we are parts and parcels of Krishna. We want to have joy and fun in our life, isn't it? So the mode of these pastimes is always bringing pleasure to Krishna. So if you see, there is this whole Rajamandala, as it is called, is actually defined in the Shastras in the shape of a lotus. And the Goloka Vrindavan is actually defined in 64-dimensional, and it is a giant lotus shape flower. And with each layer of petals, we can enter into the innermost part of the lotus flower, and the central part is Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan or Gokul. And the surrounding areas, we see there are many places. Right in the, if you see to the side, there is a blue water body, that is the river Yamuna. So to the western bank of Yamuna, there are actually 7 forests: Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan, Bahulavan, Kamyavan, Khadirvan, and Vrindavan. And we cannot see it very clearly here, but we will go deeper into the spaces. But roughly speaking, this area which is right on the bottom, where you see there are hills, that's where the Madhuvan and Talavan and Kumudvan are. Towards the middle, you see there is a hill actually which is coming, that is the Govardhan Hill. And to the right of Govardhan Hill is Bahulavan. So these are the first 4 forests that we will be talking about. But in the meantime, let us also know that on the eastern bank, that is on the right side of Yamuna, so the other on the right side is the east and the left side is the west. So on the eastern bank of Yamuna, there are 5 other forests: Bhadravan, Bilvavan or Belvan, Lohavan, Bhandirvan, and Mahavan, Gokul. So Gokul is called Mahavan. So sometimes it is called Gokul Mahavan, sometimes it is called Gokul, and sometimes it is just called Mahavan. So all these places actually have so many pastimes associated with the Lord's, Lila and interest of how he demonstrated his joyful nature, and as well as protecting the devotees. So this is another map, which it's a little hard to read, but it is the whole Rajmandal. And right, you see there is a water body, again, that's the Yamuna. And the darker part is actually the highway, the National Highway 2, which is coming from Delhi. And that's how it is actually passing right through the Rajmandal, right in the middle. So to the one side of the highway, there are some forests, and to the other side, there are remaining forests. So before we enter into this Rajmandal Parikrama, let us hear what Srimad Bhagavatam has to say. So if you can, Mataji, please pull up Bhagavatam verse 9.19.19. Yeah. Tasmadetam aham tyaktva brahmani adhyaya manasam nirdvandvo nirhankarah karas charishyami mrigai saha. Translation. Therefore, I shall now give up all these desires and meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Free from dualities of mental concoction and free from false prestige, I shall wander in the forest with the animals. Purport. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada writes actually that to go to the forest and live there with the animals, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only means by which to give up lusty desires. Unless one gives up such desires, one's mind cannot be freed from material contamination. Therefore, if one is at all interested in being freed from the bondage of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease, after a certain age, one must go to the forest. Panchashordhvam vanam rajet. After 50 years of age, one should voluntarily give up family life and go to the forest. The best forest is Vrindavan. So we hear that many times. It is said that, even in the Varnashram, that once we reach 50 years, it's Vanaprastha stage. Vana means forest and Prastha means to go. So here Prabhupada is saying the best forest to go to is Vrindavan, isn't it? Where the best forest is Vrindavan, where one need not live with the animals, but can associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who never leaves Vrindavan. Cultivating Krishna consciousness in Vrindavan is the best means of being liberated from material bondage, for in Vrindavan, one can automatically meditate upon Krishna. Now let us go to the other purport, which is from the second canto, 2.3.32, Mataji. So in the second canto starting, we see that 22. I'm sorry. We see that in the second canto, Shukadev Goswami actually starts to explain the different processes. In the first chapter, he talks about Brahman realization. In the second chapter of the second canto, he talks about Paramatma realization. In the third chapter, he goes into pure devotional service. So this verse is actually from that chapter. Barha ite te nayane naranam lingani vishnurna nirikshato ye padau nrinam tau druma janma bhajau kshetrani nanu vrajato hareryau. Translation: the eyes which do not look at the symbolic representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, which is his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on plumes of the peacock. And legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. So this is a very heavy verse where two things are being highlighted by Shukadev Goswami. One is deity worship, that one has to worship the deity. That is what is the symbolic representation. So a person who does not look at the symbolic representation of the Lord, which is his forms, name, quality, that those eyes are compared to the eyes of a peacock. The eyes on the plumes, they are compared to the plumes of the peacock. Why? They look like an eye, but can they see? They can't see. So that is why it is like a fake eye. It looks like there are eyes, but it's not doing any job of seeing. So a person who does not take interest to look at the representations of the Lord, the eyes are compared to the plumes of the peacock, those printed on the plumes of the peacock. And the second part is what is relevant to the class, that the legs which do not move to the holy places, which means for someone who does not put in the effort in their life to go to the dham, then those legs are considered to be like tree trunks. What is the comparison here? The tree trunk does not move, right? And because it does not move, actually it does not experience that joy of the first part, which is the understanding or seeing the representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can understand the importance of going to the dham from the Srimad Bhagavatam. But what about our predecessors? So, Mataji, if you can switch back to the presentation. So in our line of disciplic succession, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself actually showed us by his example. In the 48 years of his, earthly Lila, Krishna, who comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he borrows the heart of Radharani. Why? Because he wants to experience what does Radharani feel for Krishna. So he actually, at the age of 24, when he takes sannyas, he's in Bengal, and then he also goes to Jagannath Puri. But the last years of his life, he actually goes to Vrindavan. And once he goes to Vrindavan, he comes back and then he does not go anywhere. He is experiencing the joys that he experienced, the mode of separation that he experienced in Vrindavan. He stays in Jagannath Puri and he continues to experience that in the Gambhira, close to the temple of Jagannath Puri. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his example, actually showed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 17th chapter, it says, Madhuvana Tala Kumada Bahula Vana Gela Tahan Tahan Snan Kari Prema Vishra Haila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the different forests, including Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan, and Bahulavan. Wherever he went, he took his bath with great ecstatic love. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the word Vana means forest. Vrindavana is the name given to the forest where Srimati Vrindadevi or Tulsi Devi grows profusely. Actually, it is not a forest as we ordinarily ordinarily consider a forest because it is very thick with green vegetation. There are 12 such vanas in Vrindavan. Some are located on the western side of Yamuna, and the others are located on the eastern side. The forests situated on the eastern side are Bhadravana, Belvavana, Lahovana, Bhandirvan, and Mahavan. And on the western side are Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan, Bahulavan, Kamyavan, Khadirvan, and Vrindavan. These are the 12 forests of the Vrindavan area. So we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, by his example, he showed us how we have to make this effort as Krishna Bhaktas. Like in every spiritual practice, every spiritual path, there is some place, like the Muslims go to Mecca, it's their thing that at least once in a lifetime they have to make a trip, right? In Gaudiya Vaishnavism, actually, the whole emphasis is in going and doing Rajmandal Parikrama. Because all the spiritual places in the entire creation, not just on the earth, but in the entire creation, are present in that concentrated area of Golokul Vrindavan. It is, as we read forward, we will understand the details more about what that whole area comprises of. But I also want to highlight before that our own founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada, he also had the same desire. In his childhood, when he was 6 or 7 years old, he was living in Kolkata. But it is said that he always wanted to go to Jagannath Puri. He always wanted to go to the Dham. So many times in his life, he would go to the train station, he would study all the departure timetables, memorize it, and then come back. Because he did not, at that time, his family could not afford making a trip to the Dham. But his desire was very strong. So later on, much later, we know that when he was in his youth, he got a chance to go to Jagannath Puri, but he was also dreaming of visiting Vrindavan in 1925. Then finally, 5 years after that, in 1930, he got a chance when he got to know that his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was taking the devotees on Brajmandal Parikrama. So then he also got a chance, and finally he was in that position to travel and join his spiritual master. Finally, in 1965, he took a room near Keshi Ghat in this place which is Radha Damodar Mandir, and he stayed there for almost 9 years. So he took his sannyas in Vrindavan, and that's when his whole, at the end of his life, he kind of, at the age of 65, he had that desire in him that I must perfect my life and I must give this knowledge to everyone because that is what my Guru Maharaj wanted. So Vrindavan became a place for him where he actually did not want to leave. He did not have to leave. But just because he wanted to share this joy of Krishna consciousness with the entire world so that everyone can come to Vrindavan. Not just a few devotees who do their bhajan in Vrindavan. No, he did not want to be like a Bhajananandi. He wanted to distribute this. So he came, and finally in 1965, he came to the US. And then he took everybody back with him since then to Vrindavan. So the doors of Vrindavan were opened by Srila Prabhupada to all the disciples all over the world, especially the Western world. So now, let's go into the Parikrama. So the first forest is Madhuvan. Madhuvan is a very important forest, and it is one of the most famous forests. It gets its name, Madhu means sweet or nectar. It gets its name because it has many sweet nectarian pastimes in this place that happened. It gets its name also because there are actually there is a lot of honey, there is beehives in this forest. And it is said that Krishna and Balram would go there regularly and enjoy their Madhupan Lila of drinking honey liquor. And feeling intoxicated by drinking that honey, Krishna and Balram would dance and sing in transcendental ecstasy along with their cowherd boyfriends. The other reason why this place is called Madhuvan is associated with the pastime of the demon Madhu. We have heard about Madhu and Kaitaba, right? So Krishna or Vishnu actually, when his Vishnu form, he killed the Madhu demon. So this Madhu demon, he came and resided, he took over this place actually in Satya Yuga, much before Dwapar Yuga, before Krishna appeared, in Satya Yuga, and he took over the whole area and he called it Madhupuri. But because he was demoniac and he was a trouble to the world, I'm cutting the story short, he was killed by Krishna. And that's why Krishna is called Madhusudana. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we see the word Madhusudana. Over there, Arjuna is telling Krishna, kill these demons of doubts that are inside my heart. So he refers to him as Madhusudana. So that word Madhu comes from this word Madhuvan. So one of the reasons also why it's called Madhuvan is because it is the place where the nectarian pastimes of the Lord with the gopis have happened. Many, many pastimes. And there are so many verses about this written in the Puranas. Even in our Srimad Bhagavatam, there are at least 3 places where Madhuvan is mentioned, and a different context. So the first one in the 4th canto, it is mentioned in the Dhruv Maharaj story, "My dear boy, I therefore wish that all good fortune for you. You should go to the bank of Yamuna where there is a virtuous forest named Madhuvan and there be purified. Just by going there, one draws nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who always lives there." So this is the instruction given by Narada to Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruva was a little boy, 5-year-old boy, and there's a whole story of how Dhruv Maharaj left the kingdom because he was very angry. His stepfather had humiliated him, not allowing him to sit on his lap. At that time, when his mother told him that, he said, I want to become, he was a Kshatriya boy, even though he was a little boy, he was very angry that how come I'm insulted? It's a very Kshatriya spirit like that if they don't get honor, which they deserve. He said to his mother that I want to have a bigger kingdom than my father. Actually, I want to have a bigger kingdom than anyone has in this creation. So how do I get it? So there was a revengeful attitude. So he went to his mother and mother said, well, you can only get like that if you worship the Supreme Lord. And he said, so where can I find the Supreme Lord? He said, in the forest. So he just started going to the forest. He didn't know where he was going, but he was looking for the forest. And Narad Muni comes and gives him this instruction that go to the Madhuvan forest, and that's where you'll be able to find the Supreme Lord. So there is a whole Lila about that. The second place where we can see the mention of Madhuvan is in the 9th canto, in the story of Ambarish Maharaj. In the month of Kartika, it is said, after observing the vow for 1 year, after observing a fast for 3 nights, and then bathing in the Yamuna, Maharaj Ambarish worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Hari, in Madhuvan. So Madhuvan is again mentioned here in the most important Leela of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj comes in the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and actually he represents someone who perfected his devotional service in all the 9 different forms of devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, like that. All the 9 processes of devotional service, Maharaj Ambarish had perfected. And he also breaks his fast near Yamuna in Madhuvan. Then the last, or at least in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Shatrughna, who is the brother of Lord Ram, he had 2 sons named Subbahu and Shrutasena. When Lord Bharat went to conquer all directions, he had to kill millions of Gandharvas who are generally pretenders. Taking all their wealth, he offered it to Lord Ramachandra. Shatrughna also killed a Rakshasa named Lavana, who was the son of the Madhu Rakshasa. Thus he established in the great forest known as Madhuvan, the town known as Mathura. So the modern day Mathura was actually, like we had heard previously, it was under the control of the Madhu demon. Now Madhu demon, he married the sister of Ravana, and he had a son called Lavanasura. So Lavanasura took over that kingdom after Madhu was killed, and he was creating havoc. So in Treta Yuga, when Lord Ramachandra appeared, at that time his brother Shatrughna, he was sent by Lord Ram to kill Lavanasura. So we see that there are 4 different lords, under 4 different yugas, Madhuvan is mentioned. In the first one, like we summarized about Dhruv Maharaj, so Lord Prishnigarbha appears, and this was in Madhuvan. And the second, Treta Yuga, Shatrughna, he killed Lavanasura. And the third one, Krishna himself appears. And the fourth one, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also appeared, and when he went to Vrindavan for the first time, he actually reached Mathura, the present day Mathura, and then he took his first step at Madhuvan. He started his Rajmandal Parikrama with Madhuvan. So that is how we are also following the footsteps of the Lord. And this was in the year 1515. And so in modern day, this place is actually called Maholi. So if you look up on the Google Maps, you will see this place near Mathura, little towards the southwest, there is a village called as Maholi. Actually, that is Madhuvan. And we also have to remember that what was before, the different forests, today we don't really have exact geographical demarcation that, this place, the forest, Madhuvan's forest stops, and the next place, Talavan starts. It's because the landscape has changed with the whole yugas passing and the Kali Yuga effect taking over. But still, there are temples that show the presence of these Leelas. And that is our good fortune, that in the Vrajmandal Parikrama, we get to see at least 4 of these places. Lavanasura's cave, there is Dhruv Tila. Tila means mountain. There is a small mountain or a hill on which Dhruv was meditating for 6 months. And there is a Dhruv Narayan temple in that place. There is a Dauji temple and a Krishna Kund. And Krishna Kund is where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took his dip, And there is also the Shatrughna's temple. So we are fortunate that all these Leelas from the different yugas have places of worship even today. So this is the Lavanasura's cave that is there in Maholi, in the village of Maholi. And this is a nice painting showing Shatrughna killing Lavanasura. And this is the temple near Dhruv Tila, the mountain where Dhruv Maharaj was worshipping. It's the Dhruv Narayan Mandir. So in the middle is the Narayan deity, in the left is Narad Muni, and on the right is Dhruv Maharaj. So this is where it shows that Narad Muni appeared and blessed Dhruv Maharaj, as well as Dhruv Maharaj got the darshan after 6 months of praying to Narayan, the Prishnigarbha, Lord Prishnigarbha. This is the Krishna Kund. Like we said, that it's every place there is always some water body there. That's where people take their dip. And there are many pastimes also. The Lord had many pastimes in these kunds. And we are fortunate because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took dip in this kund. And this is a temple dedicated to Lord Shatrughna and his wife Shrutakirti Devi. And we can see that it is a little bit ahead. So about 5 kilometers from Mathura by walk, devotees in Rajmandal Parikrama, they come to Madhuvan. And then it takes about, I think, 3 kilometers to cover the entire village in terms of circumambulation. Next, we will go to Talavan. Talavan is a favorite for many devotees because of the donkey demon being killed. Right? Now, in Bhagavatam, Talavan is mentioned in the 10th canto. It is mentioned here that the cowherd boy said, "O Rama, Rama, mighty armed one, O Krishna, destroyer of the miscreants, not far from here is a very great forest filled with the rows of palm trees." So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, not far from the western side of Mathura, 1 yojana away, which is 8 miles, is the forest called as Talavan, which was guarded by Dhenukasura. Thus it appears that the Talavan forest is located midway between Mathura and Govardhan Hill. The forest of Talavan is described in the Harivamsa as follows. The land there is even, smooth, and very expansive. The earth is black, densely covered with the darba grass and devoid of stones and pebbles. So this is a small picture I put of the darba grass. Darba grass or the kusha grass is a very sacred grass. And it is used, when we have the arti, It's the darba grass mat that we stand on. It is considered very pure. So the Lila of Dhenukasura's killing happened in Talavan. Actually, the Lila is more that Talavan is actually the special kind of a palm tree. It's a very delicacy, actually, the palm fruit that is found there. And the cowherd boys wanted to have this palm fruit and offer it to Krishna and Balram. But it is a very subtle way of, asking in this verse. They are telling, "Oh Rama, Rama," means, "Oh Balram, oh Krishna, can you take us to that great forest and we can have palm fruit?" Actually, it is said that when if we want to offer something to someone we love, right? Like the cowherd boys wanted to offer to Krishna and Balram. Normally, the person might say, if you ask them directly, that would you like to have this? They might say, no, thank you, I'm good. Because they don't want to trouble. So the other way of asking, or the more subtle and nicer way of asking is, I'm hungry, can we have this? So then the other person doesn't feel any obligation, right? They feel comfortable and they feel spontaneous to have, because they think, oh, the other person wants to have, let me join. So it is a very subtle way of asking. And in this verse, the cowherd boys actually, it's not that they wanted to enjoy the fruit. They wanted to offer that fruit to Krishna and Balram. So they said, "Oh Krishna, oh Balram, can we go to that Talavan, to the forest full of tala trees and have that fruit? Because then when they get the tala fruit, they can nicely offer it to Krishna for his pleasure." So the story then began that how when Krishna and Balram said, "Okay, let's go," then they said, "No, you know what? That place is actually habited by a demon donkey, Dhenukasura." And you know how boys are when they are little? Donkey? Oh, let's go, check it out, So it's a very funny pastime, but of course, Krishna knows the magnitude of the demon's power. But why donkey demon, right? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Chaitanya Shikshamrita, actually elaborates about how each demon represents a specific anartha in a devotee's life. So the donkey actually, what does donkey represent? It represents envy. But before that, like donkeys in our folklore, we've heard so many things, right? Nowadays also it is there. What is donkey used for? Carrying like a dhobi, the dhobi uses a donkey. Why? Because a donkey, you give them some, you show them that there is grass. But in their head, they will think, for me to eat that grass, which is freely available, I need to work hard. Actually, they can go and eat. If they have the intelligence, nobody's stopping them. But their mentality is such that I have to work hard to get something. So that is called donkey mindset, actually. So what this Dhenukasura represents, that tala fruit, it was available and he was protecting it for Kamsa. He thought only then he can get Kamsa's favor. Actually, he can enjoy the tala fruit and he can let everyone also enjoy, but he did not. So that mentality in Chaitanya Shikshamrita, it represents the anartha called as complete ignorance or foolishness. That is originating from material intelligence. So, for example, lack of spiritual intuition or foolishness which is contrary to spiritual knowledge. So, the anartha of not knowing what is the right thing to do, it is represented by the Dhenukasura. And who killed Dhenukasura? It is Balaram. So, that is also another funny pastime where, Krishna was killing so many demons. So, the cowherd boys said, they came to Balaram first this time and they said, "Balaram, oh Rama, Rama, you've been just, come on, you show your prowess too. Your brother has been killing. He's a younger one and he's killing all the demons. You show your prowess too. You kill the demon and show us." So Balaram actually represents Guru, right? He is a supreme Guru. By his mercy, we can enter into the service of Krishna. By Balaram's mercy, we can enter into the service of Krishna. So Guru actually we have to feel foolish in front of the Guru, but we don't have to act foolishly. Right? Prabhupada said that. We should feel foolish, which means that we should not think that I know everything. But we should act in such a way that is not foolish. So the Guru, by the Guru's mercy, we can get that understanding how not to have that anartha in our devotional life. So the whole significance of Balaram killing Dhenukasura is summarized as a Guru helping us overcome that anartha of not being foolish in our spiritual life. So this pastime of Dhenukasura that happened in Talavan is very significant because this is the place where when one goes to this place and visits the different places of interest, we can beg for that blessing, that we get the Guru's blessing so that we can overcome this anartha. So this is a very nice picture of the killing of Dhenukasura. And this is actually a path that we saw. It's coming from Mathura, down south, we go towards Madhuvan, and then from Madhuvan, a little ahead, about 2 kilometers ahead is Talavan. So that is where we were. In modern time, it is called as Tarsi. This village is today called as Tarsi. So when the Parikrama happens, from Mathura, devotees walk to Maholi, which is Madhuvan, and then come down to Tarsi. And there is actually a Balabhadra Kund, the place of interest, and also there is a temple of Dauji. And Dauji temple, you can see there is actually even the remnants of the Tala tree. There are very few Tala trees left now. What was there in Dwapar Yuga, very little of that is remaining. But even then, that is significant that in this place in Talavan, there is still the Tala tree remaining. And the Dauji deity is on the right of Dauji deity is Revati, his consort, and on the left is Krishna. So we can get darshan of this place in Talavan. Any questions so far before I move ahead, or can we go ahead in the Parikrama? So the third forest is called Kumudvan. And Kumudvan is it's a very sweet and small actually forest. And it is, modern day, it is also called as Kudarban. It's a corruption of that name, Kumudvan. Kumuda is actually, it stands for the name water lily like lotus flower. So water lily is white. So lotus flower, which is of a special variety, is called Kumuda. And many pastimes of Radha and Krishna happened in Kumudvan, and it is called as a Jal Vihar, which means the pastimes were the water pastimes of the Lord with the gopis. And there is also a Vihar Kund here, which we will see. So this village, you can see when you enter, it says Kumudvan on top. There is a nice gate that when we enter this village. And it is said that here, many times, when even the Krishna and cowherd boys used to come, they used to sport in this kund. And the cowherd boys would say that, they would wear all these garlands made of these kumud flowers, right? The water lilies, like lotus. And then they would go and say, tiri tiri, chun chun. And that's how they used to play in this lake, in Kumudvan. And it is also said that one of the important places, like in this is Kumudvan. Actually, Kumudvan can be found as a place when we look on the Google Maps. Unlike Talavan, we cannot find, but Tarsi we can find. Right? So Kumudvan is a little bit more west of Tarsi, about 3 miles. And the places of interest here there is a temple, actually, where there is Radha Krishna deities. And there is the main, of course, like I said, is the Kund, where Krishna used to have water pastimes with with his cowherd boy friends, as well as with the gopis. So this is that place, the Kumudvan, the Kumudini Kund. It has many names. It is also called as Padma Kund or Vihar Kund. Vihar, like I said, is a Jal Vihar, right? So the important aspect of this place, like we were talking about, how in the entire creation, all the important places of pilgrimage actually can be found in Vrindavan. So sometimes we see devotees, they want to go to Yatra, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Ganga Sagar, right? But actually every place in the Bharatvarsha, as well as in the whole entire 14 planetary systems, is found in the Braj Mandal. And we can see the first aspect of that. There is a place where sage Kapila or Kapil Muni worshipped here in this place called Kumudvan. And he is said to be there today in the form of his deity. It's actually a small deity and a small temple. And this lake actually is then called as Ganga Sagar. So the whole benefit that we get of going to Ganga Sagar can be got by going to this lake in Kumudvan. And it is also said that in Adi Varaha Puran, so there are different Puranas who mention all these aspects. So to bring it all together, what devotees have said, that in the Adi Varaha Purana, one who bathes in this kunda will achieve 10 times the benefit of a pilgrimage to Sri Ganga Sagar. This famous kunda is also referred to as Padma Kunda, and it is said that anyone who bathes here will acquire all the knowledge of the Vedas. So the word Padma generally refers to lotus flower, but it is also can represent enlightenment. Right? We know that the lotus also represents enlightenment. So anyone who wants to get the complete knowledge, they can go and take dip in this kund, and they will actually get the purport of the Vedas. That is the benediction, as mentioned in Adi Varaha Purana. And this is another place inside that temple. I just took a picture of this because it is interesting how it mentions the coming of Kapila Muni and how this place is called as Ganga Sagar. The proof of that is there. Another significant importance of this Kumudvan is that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in his Vrajmandal Parikrama. He went to Madhuvan, Talavan, and then he came to Kumudvan. And his lotus feet, Chaitanya, it's called Chaitanya Chinna, Charan Chinna. That place is, the temple has an area where the Charan Chinna of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are also installed. It is to show that he also came there in his Vrajmandal Parikrama in the year 1515. Next, so we were on the bottom, right? We came from Mathura to Madhuvan to Talavan and Kumudvan. So we are on the south. Now the Parikrama path starts to go on the northern side. Before we reach the next one, which is called as Bahulavan, there are some more places of interest. And it's important that as we pass through those places, why not take darshan, right? So the place of interest is Shantanu Kund. Shantanu is the same person whom goddess Ganga married in Mahabharata, King Shantanu. He was a very powerful king, actually. And it is said that he was childless for some time, so he prayed in this place for many, many years that a son be born to him who will be very strong, and also he will have Ichha Mrityu, which means he can die when he wants, not that he has to meet with death at any particular time. So whenever he wants, that person will be able to die when they want, Ichha Mrityu. So Shantanu, as we know in the story of Mahabharata, that he married goddess Ganga, and there were actually Vasus, the 8 Vasus, who did some offense to a sage. They were cursed to be born on the earth. And the 8th Vasu, Dyu, actually he was the one who made the first, the main offense. All his brothers had just been there supporting him. So he got the curse that he will not be able to, because all the Vasus, they prayed for forgiveness, and the sage said, okay, you will be born on the earth, but immediately you will die. So, but this last Vasu, he was the one who actually committed the offense. He was made to stay longer. So he is none other than Bhishma Dev. So Shantanu got that son Bhishma, who is actually one of the 12 Mahajans in the Bhagavatam. He is one of the 12 Mahajans along with Lord Shiva. Who are the other Mahajans? Do you remember? Yamaraj, Brahma, Narada, Shiva, and also the Kumaras, Kapila, right? So there are 12 Mahajans like that. And Shukadev Goswami is also Mahajan, right? So Bhishma is one of those Mahajans. There is Janaka also, right? Bhishma, so Mahajan means someone who, Mahajana means he's a great human being. He actually had complete spiritual knowledge. He knew Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he was also having he became, the whole mood was that he became a person who gave pleasure to the Lord in Virya Ras. So there is a whole, in Nectar of Devotion it is described that the pastime of Bhishma actually going on the other side other than the Pandavas was to give pleasure to the Lord. Because nobody fought with the Lord in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Bhishma, he got he gave the pleasure, the transcendental mellow to Krishna, that Krishna had to lift a wheel to fight, right? Although he had vowed that he is not going to fight. So he gives the Virya Rasa to Krishna. And he was so fortunate that when he passed away, when he was leaving his body, because he had the Ichha Mrityu, he could wait till the war was over. And it is mentioned in the first canto how when Krishna knows that, the war is over and Bhishma is still waiting on the battlefield on a bed of arrows, and Krishna goes and gives him darshan. So imagine how fortunate he is that Krishna is coming in front of him. That, okay, now you die, I am in front of you. So he will definitely go back to Godhead, right? So the same Bhishma, his father, Shantanu, took his, he did his meditation here in this place. And so even today, Shantanu Kund is present, and there is a Shantanu Bihari temple. This is the Shantanu Kund, as you can see, and that is the temple in the back. And these are these beautiful deities of Radha Shantanu Bihari. And it is said in the local area that, those who are childless, they come and worship here. And and the Pujari actually, he shows the testimony that all the desires of these devotees that want a child, the desire is never, incomplete. Krishna always fulfills their desire. So that is the local belief for the Shantanu Bihari. And of course, we also can go a little bit more and understand that a little bit to the west of this place, Shantanu Kund, is a place called Datiya actually. It's a small village called Datiya. So that place is actually associated with the demon called Dantavakra. He's mentioned in the 10th canto, 78th verse, where how it is mentioned that after Krishna left and went to Dwaraka, right? He went to Mathura, and then from Mathura he went to Dwaraka. The Brajavasis were in constant separation. So when he comes back to fight, to actually help in the Kurukshetra war being fought, at that time the gopis, on the pretext of the solar eclipse, they come to Kurukshetra, and the whole pulling of the Rath of Krishna, they want to drag him back. They said, enough, we have tolerated enough of separation. So that is the whole Rath Yatra Lila, actually, that's what it represents. The pulling of the Rath of Krishna by the Vrajavasis back towards the direction of Vrindavan. So Kurukshetra is modern Delhi, right? So from that place, they brought him back. But Krishna said, but the Dwaraka Vasis now, they also feel separation from Krishna. They don't want Krishna to go anywhere. They want him to finish his, service over there that he went for, to be the, support for the Pandavas, to fight the battle, and come back to Dwaraka. But it is mentioned in the last part of the 10th canto that in order to fulfill the desires of his dear devotees, Vrajavasis, Krishna, he said to his Dwarka Vasis that, I have some more work here. I have to kill a demon, Dantavakra, and then I will come back to Dwarka. So on the pretext of killing the demon, Krishna actually goes to Vrindavan. And this is that place, Datiha. Dati is actually standing for the name Dantavakra, because Danta means teeth. So Dantavakra, the demon, actually had slanted teeth. That's why his name was Dantavakra. And Datiha, Dati is again the short form of that Dant, and Ha means to kill. So now it is present day, the spoiled version of that is called Datiya. So this place, Datiha, is the place where Dantavakra was killed by Krishna. So we can see on the left side, there is Radhakund. So that is where the Parikrama for Govardhan also starts, those who want to go for Govardhan Parikrama. So Vrajmandal Parikrama actually includes Govardhan Parikrama as part of it, right? So this place, now if you can see, it's on the western side of Mathura. Just between Mathura and this place, Shantanukund, is the whole place of our next place of interest, which is called Bahulavan. So this is our fourth village that we are going, the fourth forest, actually, not village, forest. So the first one was Madhuvan. Second one was Talvan. Third one was Kumudvan. Now fourth one is Bahulavan. So this is our last village, or last one of forest, sacred forest for today's class. It is a very special place. And modern time, it is actually, it is said that Bahulavan extends all the way up to Radhakund. Radhakund actually is considered part of Bahulavan, the forest of Bahulavan. And if you know that even in the month of Kartik, when it is mentioned Bahulashtami, one of the days, it is the day when the pastime of Bahula that we are going to discuss happened. There is a name of a cow called Bahula. And also it is the day of appearance of Radhakund. So Radhakund, the snan of Radhakund or dip in Radhakund on the midnight of Bahulashtami is considered like the most elevated service that we can get. And it is also said that the whole water of Radhakund becomes whitish, like the whole Kshir Sagar is present there. And it is only on that night it happens. It is very, very mystical. But those who come with the heart and with faith, they know this is, none other than Radha and Krishna sitting in Radhakund and Shamkund, and anything can happen. What is unmanifest in front of our eyes does not mean it does not happen, right? Like the cloud is covering the sun does not mean the sun does not exist. We can see only the cloud. So it is mentioned that how when we go to the Dham, we can't see many things, but by the Shastra Chakshu and by the guidance of a devotee, we can start to understand a little bit. So that is our attempt, that we can understand a little bit the glories of this place. So with that, we'll continue to Bahulavan. So the story of Bahulavan, it is actually in the Gocharan Lila of pastimes of Krishna. So there are many Leelas, there are different categories of Leelas of Krishna. Gocharan is when they are going their daily pastimes to graze the cows, to, the cowherd boys, they're doing that Leela. So once there was this cow called Bahula who was there in Dwapar Yuga, and it is mentioned that she just had a baby calf and she was very thirsty. And before she could feed the calf, right? Normally, as soon as the baby calf is born, the mother wants to give, mother cow wants to give, right, milk to the baby. But she was very thirsty. So she decided to go and take water from a nearby pond. And when she went there, she was attacked by a tiger. And the tiger attacked her and he was about to devour her. And the cow said, can you please stop? I have just given birth to my baby calf, and I have not even given my first milk. So how will that calf get the strength? So give me some time, and I promise you that I will feed my calf, and I will come back, and then you can eat me. So it's a very unique story, because first of all, we cannot imagine how cows can communicate to tiger, right? But it happened. This is, Vrindavan Lila, it happened. And then the tiger also, normally tigers don't have that much patience. When their feast is right in front of them, they want to have it. But this is a unique tiger. He said, okay, I believe you. So you can go and come, I will wait here. So the Bahula cow goes back and feeds the calf, but starts to cry. And the calf is asking, why are you crying? He says, this is the last time I'm going to be able to give you milk. And the calf starts to cry even more. It's like, what do you mean? He says, I'm not going to live because I have promised a tiger that I will come back. And he attacked me. I was supposed to be his feast, but he allowed me to come and feed you. But I cannot forget my promise to him. I have to go back and I have to become the food for that tiger now. So I will not live. And so, hearing this conversation, the master of that cow was an old Brahmin. He came in this Bahulavan village, and he said, he heard, and he saw both calf and the cow crying because they were feeling separation. And he said, the calf said, no, you don't go, mother, I will go. I will tell the tiger to eat me instead. I am fresh flesh, I will be more tasty for the tiger. So I will let the tiger eat me, you stay. You don't go anywhere. And the cow said, no, I have promised. In the meantime, this Brahman, he says, you know what? You both are you are under my protection. I will make sure that you are protected. And I will offer myself to the tiger. You don't go, I will go to the tiger. So like that, when the three were, having an argument, who wants to become the tiger's food? It doesn't happen in ordinary life. Normally, we want to run away and let the other person be in trouble. Right? But this was a mystic potency of the Vrindavan that everyone wants to sacrifice for everyone else. They want to sacrifice and be there for someone else. So like this, in their argument, all three of them went to the tiger, because they didn't want to leave each other. Now this tiger, he became very happy. He said, I got three options for my feast, actually. Then, when the argument was going on, the cow told, you eat me, I am back. Then the calf says, no, you eat me, I am better, better tasting than my mother. Then the Brahmin says, no, they are under my protection, you eat me first. And like this, the argument was going on, and this tiger was wondering, what is going on here? And at that time, Lord Krishna appears. And Krishna then says to the tiger, he just blesses the tiger. And by the touch of Krishna, the tiger becomes pacified from his hunger. He loses actually his desire for eating. Right? He overcomes his hunger and thirst. And he says that they are my devotees. This Bahula, because she is truthful, she has won my heart. So you don't eat them, and the tiger goes away. And actually this pastime that happened in Bahulavan, this is a very beautiful tree that is there in Bahulavan, and it's called by this place, actually the modern day, it's called Bati. And I just want to mention that is where it is, right up north, you can see, still on the west side of the Yamuna, but in a little bit north from Shantanukund. So this is that temple, Bahula Bihari, Bahula and Yamaraj. So actually there is the hidden story is that tiger was none other than Yamaraj, Dharmaraj. He was actually testing the cow and also showing the greatness of that Bahula. And it is mentioned in different Puranas. Actually, the story is mentioned in many different Puranas. And it is mentioned actually this Bahula, in Skanda Purana it says Bahula Devi is a consort of Sri Hari. And it is mentioned that she is none other than Bhumi Devi. Comparisons are made as she is Bhumi Devi. So we know that Bhumi Devi also marries, Lord Vishnu or Krishna, right? That is the story. And also Lakshmi. Bahula also represents Lakshmi. So later on, it is said in the next life, Bahula actually became one of the queens of Dwarka. So because she won the heart of Krishna for her truthfulness, she got a chance to be the Lord's consort. She was reunited with her Lord. So this Bahulavan that's why very special, because it represents how the Lord's heart is won over and how Lord is kind to every living entity. No one goes unnoticed by the Lord. So this place, Bahulavan forest, is about 6 kilometers. It is actually one of the biggest or largest sacred forests. Like we talked, Kumudvan was one of the smaller ones. Bahulavan is a very big one. And it has this temple, like we say, there is a small, actually we can see more closely in this place, another darshan, the Bahula cow, and in the back there is the Brahmana. On the left side is Krishna, and actually there is a tiger also next to them, and behind the deity, who is none other than who was Yamaraj. The important place here is the Sankarshan Kund or Bahulavan Kund and Mansarovar. So someone might wonder, Mansarovar is actually there in Barsana. Why it's mentioned here? So Mansarovar, there are different places of Radharani is taking man. So this place is also significant because actually it was Mansarovar and Sankarshan Kund before, but now it has joined because the way they excavated and it is all together. And it is significant because Radharani's man happened, man means it's a very jealous anger kind of a mood, man, like I'm hurt. So there are two kinds of hurt. So Indradu Maharaj mentions in his book, there are two kinds of anger. One is you know the cause, why somebody is angry. Other one is you don't know the cause. The second one is harder to figure out, right, to pacify. Because you don't know what caused the anger in the first place. So Radharani's man towards Krishna happened once when they were actually, in Bahulavan, and something happened, but Radharani became angry, and she just left. So she was sulking behind a bower near this kund, and then Krishna, he entered the bower, and he was not sure what went wrong, why is she angry? But after much contemplation, he thought, okay, let me just bow my feet, because he did not want to see Radharani angry. So, actually this pastime is written by Jayadev Goswami in his Gita Govinda. And there is a whole story that Jayadev Goswami was, in his meditation, he used to get the visions of the pastimes of the Lord, and that's how he used to write them down. And in his vision, he saw that Krishna is putting his head on the feet of Radharani. And he said, oh no, this cannot be true. Radharani will not allow this, and Krishna will also not do this. So he was, in his meditation, he just left that line. First he wrote that line, then he said, no, this is not the correct line. He removed it. And then he was just thinking. Then he said, let me go and take my bath and come. Let me get like some, fresh mind before I can get to write this pastime. Because he could not believe, how can he write such a pastime where Krishna is putting his head on Radharani's feet. So the pastime goes, he went to take his bath, and Krishna himself comes in the form of Jayadev Goswami. And his wife, Jayadev Goswami's wife, is cooking for him, because he will take his noon feast, noon bhoga, noon lunch, and he will come, I will take his bath and come, he will be hungry, so she can give. She says, oh, Lord, you're back so soon? He says, no, I remembered something, so I want to finish that. He goes and he completes that poem. And that last line he writes, and therefore Krishna put his head on Radharani's feet. And then his wife says, you must be hungry, so why don't you eat? So Krishna, now this wife of Jayadev Goswami is also such an exalted devotee, that Krishna, he was obliged. He said he could not say no. So she fed him. And Krishna, just before that, she had offered to her deities, to Radha, Krishna deities that they had. So the same prasad Krishna eats again. He's already eaten in the form of his deity, but Krishna sat down in the form of Jayadev Goswami and he honors his own prasad. And then he goes. After some time, the real Jayadev Goswami comes. And then his wife says, you just went. He says, yeah, I'm very hungry. Can you give me something to eat? He said, you just ate. He said, what do you mean? I did not eat anything. I'm very hungry. And then she says, no, you just came. You went inside. You wrote, you said you wanted to finish writing something, and then you ate. And then Jayadev Goswami was stunned. He said, oh, that means the Lord has come. So he went immediately and he checked. And he saw that it was completed, the poem was completed, that Krishna put his head on Radharani's feet when she was in Man. And then Jayadev Goswami understood that Supreme Lord himself Because Jayadev Goswami as a devotee could not write this. Supreme Lord himself had to write it. And he was so stunned and he was so much in transcendental joy. Even more because his wife got to feed the Lord himself. And he said to her that you are so fortunate that Lord has eaten by your own hands. And so this is the wonderful pastime of the Lord. So this story of this Mansarovar, how Radharani becomes angry and how Krishna pacifies her, is signified by this kund. So those who take bath in this kund, they get the blessing of Radha and Krishna. Then the most important part from our perspective is when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Bahulavan. And actually it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can read a little bit. Mataji, if you can go to the 17th verse of Madhya Lila. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. Yeah, this is the chapter that has Lord's travel to Vrindavan. And go to verse number 193. Thank you, Mataji. So actually, So this verse says, Madhuvana tala kumuda bahulavana gila tahan tahan snan kari prema vishta haila. So translation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the different forests including Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan and Bahulavan. Wherever he went, he took his bath with great ecstatic love. Now, if you can, Mataji, if you can go to that view where we can only see translations, because we are going to read from 194 verse all the way till 207. Only translations? Okay. So, that picture that we were seeing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying on the forest, under a beautiful tree, and the deers and the peacocks and the parrots, they are all actually licking him, because he is so much representing that mood of Radharani that he becomes so attractive even to the animals of Vrindavan. So actually we can take turns reading this. It's very beautiful. If we can pass the mic around and take turns. Mataji, go ahead. Oh, turn it on, please. Oh, yellow mic, Mataji. It's not. Is the green light on that? Okay. Yeah.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Vrindavana, herds of grazing cows saw him pass and immediately surrounding him began to move very loudly.
Yeah, you can go to the next verse and you can take turns reading.
Seeing the herds approach him, the Lord was stunned with ecstatic love. The cows then began to lick his body out of great affection.
Yeah, please pass it. You can read next. Yeah, 196.
196. Becoming pacified, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to caress the cows, and the cows, being unable to give up his company, went with him.
So Bahulavan is a place where you'll find a lot of cows also, right? The Bahula cow. So this actually represents that painting that we will see, how the cows were also with the Lord. They didn't want to leave him, they just wanted to follow him. Yes, go ahead.
It was only with great difficulty that the cowherd men were able to keep the cows back. Then when the Lord chanted, all the deer heard his sweet voice and approached him.
Okay, next verse.
When the does and the bucks came and saw the Lord's face, they began to lick his body. Not being at all afraid of him, they accompanied him along the path.
Bumblebees and birds like the parrot and cuckoo all began to sing loudly on the fifth note, and the peacocks began to dance in front of the Lord.
Okay.
Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the trees, the creepers of Vrindavan became jubilant. Their twigs stood up and they began to shed tears of ecstasy in the form of honey.
Yes.
The tree branches and creepers, overloaded with fruits and flowers, fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and greeted him with various presentations as if they were friends.
Yeah. Next.
Oh, the first one. Thus, all the moving and non-moving living entities of Vrindavana become very jubilant to see the Lord. It was as if friends were happy by seeing another friend.
Yeah.
Seeing their affection, the Lord was moved by ecstatic love. He began to sport with them exactly as a friend sports with his friends. Thus, he voluntarily came under the control of his friends.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to embrace each and every tree and creeper, and they began to offer their fruits and flowers as if in meditation.
The Lord's body was restless, and tears trembling, and jubilation were manifest. He said very loudly, "Chant Krishna, chant Krishna."
Krishna, Krishna. Right? Yes.
All moving and non-moving creatures then began to vibrate the transcendental sound of Hare Krishna as if they were echoing the deep sound of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
The Lord then clasped the necks of the deer and began to cry. There was jubilation manifest in the bodies of the deer, and tears were in their eyes.
Okay, perfect. So we stop here and we go back to the slides, Mataji. So this is actually the last part of this presentation. So this is that beautiful painting that depicts that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt when he went to Vrindavan. That separation and that joy combined in his heart, that he became subservient to even the animals, the creepers and the bees, the birds of Vrindavan. He came to this place in the year 1515, that's when he started. It is also said that many years later, Janhavi Devi, the wife of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, whose birthday or appearance is coming soon, right, also visited Bahulavan while traveling from Vrindavan to Radhakund in the year 1582. And it is said that she took bath in the various kundas here before continuing her journey to Radhakund. And in Radhakund, Janva Mata's Baitak is still there. Those who go there can take darshan and get her blessings too, because she has also followed the path that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took. And now we will transition to a very beautiful bhajan before we end the class. It is called Adharam Madhuram. It's a beautiful bhajan written by Sri Vallabhacharya to glorify the beauty of Lord. So every aspect of the Lord is Madhuram. So this bhajan is full of sweetness. So we can sing along. Nita is going to start leading it. Yeah, the lyrics. Mataji, so can you please put the lyrics for Adharam Madhuram? Yeah. Can you scroll a little? Yeah. Actually, don't need this. Go ahead.
Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram Nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram Nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram Hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram Hridayam madhuram gamanam madhuram Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate akhilam madhuram
Vachanam madhuram charitam madhuram Vachanam madhuram charitam madhuram Vasanam madhuram valitam madhuram Vasanam madhuram valitam madhuram Chalitam madhuram brahmitam madhuram Chalitam madhuram brahmitam madhuram Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipatir akhilam madhuram
Venur madhuro renur madhura
Venur madhuro renur madhura
Panir madhura pado madhura
Panir madhura padau madhura
Nityam madhuram sakhyam madhuram Nityam madhuram sakyam madhuram Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Geetam madhuram pitam madhuram Geetam madhuram pitam madhuram Bhuktam madhuram suptam madhuram Bhuktam madhuram suptam madhuram Rupam madhuram tilakam madhuram Rupam madhuram tilakam madhuram Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Karanam madhuram taranam madhuram Karanam madhuram taranam madhuram Haranam madhuram ramanam madhuram
Haranam madhuram
ramanam madhuram Vanitam madhuram shamitam madhuram
Vamitam madhuram shamitam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Gunja madhura mala madhura Gunja madhura mala madhura Yamuna madhura vichi madhura
Yamuna madhura vichi madhura
Salilam madhuram kamalam madhuram
Salilam madhuram kamalam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Gopi madhura Lila madhura
Gopi madhura Lila madhura
Yuktam madhuram bhuktam madhuram
Yuktam madhuram bhuktam madhuram
Rishtam madhuram shishtam madhuram
Rishtam madhuram shishtam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Gopa madhura gavo madhura
Gopa madhura gavo madhura
Yashtir madhura srishtir madhura
Yastir madhura sristir madhura
Dalitam madhuram Falitam madhuram
Dalitam madhuram Palitam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram
Madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram.
We can read the translation so we can understand what we are saying. Mataji, if you can scroll up. Okay. You want to take turns reading? Yeah.
His lips are sweet, his face is sweet, his eyes are sweet, his smile is sweet, his heart is sweet, his gait is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His words are sweet, his character is sweet, his dress is sweet, his belly folds are sweet, his movements are sweet, his wandering is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His flute is sweet, his foot dust is sweet, his hands are sweet, his feet are sweet, his dancing is sweet, his friendship is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His singing is sweet, his yellow cloth is sweet, his eating is sweet, his sleeping is sweet, his beauty is sweet, his tilaka is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His deeds are sweet, his liberating is sweet, his stealing is sweet, his love sports are sweet, his obligations are sweet, his tranquility is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His gunja berry necklace is sweet, his flower garland is sweet, his Yamuna river is sweet, his ripples are sweet, his water is sweet, his lotuses are sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His gopis, cowherd boys, are sweet, his pastimes are sweet, his union is sweet, his food is sweet, his delight is sweet, his courtesy is sweet, everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
His gopas, cowherd boys, are sweet. His cows are sweet. His staff is sweet. His creation is sweet. His trampling is sweet. His fruitfulness is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness.
Thank you very much. Let's stop here. I hope you had a good Parikrama, part of it at least. I pray that I can serve you all and serve for the pleasure of Prabhupada and the deities, talking about Parikrama in the next class, whenever that happens. Thank you. So, I'd like to now continue to the next part of the program, which is Kaishara presentation, youth presentation. And I'll just briefly move from this place. Parisa. So Parisa, who's in the Kaishara class since the school year, starting August, has been very sincere and attentive in the class. So we'd like to hear from you, Parisa, today. Come on. Do you want a head mic so that you can use this? So yeah, go ahead, Parisa.
Yeah,
you can introduce your name and age and start.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. My name is Parisa, and I'm 14. And today I will be sharing the importance. And today I would like to share the importance of giving and receiving feedback. So, importance of receiving feedback. So, mistakes are common, but our corrections. Not all mistakes need to be corrected, just like how not all sicknesses need medical attention.
Sorry to interrupt, Parisa. Can you put your mic a little closer to the mouth because it's not audible? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just like how not all sicknesses need medical attention, just like how all mistakes don't need to be corrected. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanen sattvadarshanaha. This verse elaborates on the true importance of receiving and giving feedback. Mentors and teachers are always going to be here to guide us, and it's important to know how to approach one, ask for help, and also give that same help to other people that we may teach later on. So you may think that not everyone needs help and guidance, like, oh, there are just some people that know everything. But there are some people, like, for example, King Dhruva, who needed the help and guidance of his grandfather. So one day, King Dhruva found out that his younger brother had been killed by a yaksha. And raged in anger, taken over by anger, he went to the city of the yakshas and started killing innocent ones, one after another. He got to the point where he was almost eliminating their race entirely. But his grandfather watching him do that, approached him and told Dhruva, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Excessive anger is the path of sinful ignorance. And hearing his grandfather's words made Dhruva realize that what he was doing was wrong. What he was doing was not appropriate. It was very ill-mannered and disrespectful. So Dhruva was able to positively take his grandfather's feedback and advice and words, and he started to stop. He realized that, oh, what I'm doing is wrong. I shouldn't be killing so many innocent yakshas just because out of my loyalty and love for my brother. Another example of feedback is when Vyasa was passionately writing one of his works of literature, as he has written many, which are widely known and appreciated by many. And as he was writing, he realized that he was stuck. He needed a bit more. He was missing something. So then his guru approached him and read everything and told him how he could be better, how he could expand his literature. And so by hearing the tips and advice of his guru, Vyasa went on to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is now widely appreciated by humanity. So handling feedback, we encounter conflicts, and we need to be able to solve them and get the help and advice of our mentors and peers around us. So being able to give feedback and then receive feedback positively ultimately helps us become better people, better devotees, and better friends to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Parisa. That was wonderful. Any comments, questions, reflections? Want to say something?
Hare Krishna. I really like your presentation.
Thank you.
There was no or any stoppage in between. It was continuous and it was very easy to understand. I have one reflection. I learned how to give feedback from Vaisheshika Maharaj. He said that if we want to give feedback, we should give positives. If we want to give constructive feedbacks, then we should give positives first, how it is being helpful, and then give something which can be improved. But thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Very good presentation. Thank you. It was very precise and straight. I really liked it. One question from the first slide, you said, right, not every mistake has to be corrected. So how do you gauge that what mistakes should be corrected, what should not be corrected? If you can reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think there are some mistakes that you make so that you learn how to learn from them. Like there are some mistakes that you need to make so that you can learn and grow. But then there are some mistakes that, they're like very bad. Like you need someone to help you get there. Like if you want to go and expand your knowledge, you might need someone to help you correct. But then like there are some mistakes in which you need to figure out how to do it for yourself. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Very nice presentation, Parisa. It was amazing. One thing that I have noticed all throughout my life is when someone gives you feedback, you need to be a good listener, right? Unless you listen well, you won't be able to follow through. But at the same time, we have seen this flaw is in me as well, that I keep talking a lot, right? And I forget that I have to make it concise, right? But what happens is, I realized I started doing this, started listening to people, but then I realized the people opposite to me started talking a lot. And it became very difficult for me to, interrupt them. But I think positive feedback could be in this manner as well, that we could tell them that, can you shorten? Can you please shorten? I don't know how to tell this positively. I haven't found a way, but that could be one thing. Another thing I could tell you is, this is from my experience, right? When someone talks in a same tone, right, it becomes monotonous, right? When you make your voice high pitch, low pitch, people really pay attention to it. And if people can, whoever is talking on the stage, if they move a little bit, then people can move their heads and their attention goes to the person who is talking. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the nice presentation. I especially liked the both examples where Narada Muni is coming and giving feedback to Vyasa, and also Swayambhava Manu giving feedback to Dhruva. So, and in the last slide you mentioned that for giving feedback, we should have the good intentions. We should desire welfare of the other person for giving the feedback. But is that what are the other requirements for giving the feedback? Looks like we can't give feedback to anybody and everybody, even though you have the good intentions. So how should you discriminate?
I guess just one thing is making sure that the person you're talking to does want to learn from you. Like if you're telling someone like a simple correction, then they need to be willing to learn. And I guess you shouldn't, half of it is correcting someone shouldn't just be for the other person, but also for yourself. If you're helping someone else, it also makes you feel good. So I guess just thinking about how it will make everyone feel, because ultimately helping others helps ourselves. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So the person who is listening should be ready to take the feedback before we give the feedback to the other person, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, very good presentation.
Hi,
Great
thank
job. Yeah, my question was similar to what Prabhu asked. How do you decide who to give feedback to?
Well, I'm sure it also depends on the context of the situation, but also just wanting to help yourself and help others so that you help yourself, because helping others, makes you feel better about yourself. So I guess if the other person was also willing to listen to you, and also at the end of the day, knowing that you've tried your best to help everyone around you. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is online. Tadiya Siva Prabhu, please go ahead. Tadiya Siva Prabhu, are you able to hear us? Do we need to unmute him, Mataji? Do we need to unmute? Okay. Okay. So, is there any other comment or question? Okay. Thank you so much, Parisa. That was fantastic. I really liked. I really liked your answers about how the giving of the feedback should be helpful to the other person as well as to yourself. Actually, that is called empathy, right? It's not sympathy, it's different. Sympathy is focused on where you're just trying to do some, you're feeling bad, but the focus is on you. It's not on the other person. It's how you feel about other person's suffering. That is sympathy. But empathy is you're trying to stay in other person's shoes and understand what they are feeling and then help them. That is really a fantastic insight, actually. Thank you so much for how to give and receive feedback. So that was excellent, and I really appreciate the time that you took to prepare for this. It takes a lot, and Parisa's actually, this is her first year in Sunday school, and I noticed that she's just soaking up everything that, that we teach in the class as well as in the temple. I'm sure her mother's very, very nice in guiding her and, always there to help you, right? And thank you so much for all your sincerity and the hard work.
Thank you.
I heard someone say that, is there an online, someone wanting to speak? No, okay.
Mataji, one question.
Oh yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
So there are 12 forests in Braj, right, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu, there is a question for me. I thought you were asking for Parisa. Go ahead, Prabhu.
So my question was, so most of the forests, unfortunately, are gone. My Guru Maharaj says there is only one forest which is still in pristine condition. Are you aware of that forest which is still in pristine condition, where devotees can still go there and feel, they are still sitting in, going back in time 5,000 years ago?
I don't know, Prabhu, of that. Maybe I know for sure Vrindavan forest is completely gone because it is commercialized. There is buildings, there are industrialization, and but all the other forests, like we saw, you're right. It's very what was there originally. In some forests, very less of that remains. But what is good is at least there is presence of those signs, like the presence of Kapila Muni, Shantanu Kund, and Shantanu Bihari temple. So these are ancient places. And also, I think the Dauji temple in Talavan is one of the deities that Vajranab installed. So Vajranab was a great grandson of Krishna, who he actually created, the special black marble deities or the black stone deities. He made them and installed them in various places where these pastimes took place. And it is also said that why someone asks, why is Balram black? Because normally Balram is considered white, fair. So the pastime is that when he looks at Krishna, he becomes black. He becomes so happy that he takes on Krishna's color. That's what I read about that. But I think the point is the beauty of Vrindavan remains intact for those who have the faith and who can go in the association of devotees and see it from their vision. That's why I mentioned Shastra Chakshu. The potency of those places is not gone. Someone who stays there, actually Prabhupada who said, someone who goes and stays in the Mathura area, even if they don't know Krishna, if they stay for 2 weeks, they will understand something special about this place. That is the power of that place. So what to speak of someone who knows who is Krishna, and if we study from the Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Krishna, and then we go and do parikrama of these places, then we can understand. It is just a matter of time. It's just like the potency of the holy name. Initially we might think it's just a name, ordinary name. We're just chanting names. How difficult is that, right? But when we actually start chanting, 2 things happen. We realize how difficult it is to chant continuously. And second, we also, it uplifts the consciousness. Then we start understanding there is something higher, which is behind the chanting of the holy name. So we want to do more. Right? So, in the same way, the places may not be manifest today, but the potency is not gone. The potency is still there. And most of the places are not, I personally, in my experience, I felt Govardhan and Barsana is still like, it feels like you've gone back in time, especially Barsana. If you go for Barsana Parikrama, the people, they look from a different place. They don't have the tinge of modernization in them. Their behavior, their way of receiving the guests. If you just go, they will offer you braj roti. They may not be very rich, but their hearts are so rich. Their way of welcoming and their way of because Krishna consciousness is so deep in them, that culture is still so deep that we can experience part of that even today. What to speak of, when we chant and we associate with devotees and then we understand more and more, then these places are revealed. That's why we hear from great devotees like Indudu Maharaj, all the Guru Maharaj who take on different parikramas. They have been reading and chanting for 50 years now after Prabhupada initiated them. So more than 50 years, 60 years, it transforms the consciousness of the person. So we can see from their eyes these places. I hope that answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. I just have one more question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Recently Maharaj took us to the Sudevi and Rangadevi forest. This is on the western side of Barsana. Now my question is Sudevi and Rangadevi forest is also one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan, or is it a separate forest? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Prabhu. So that forest is not part of these 12 forests, but it is mentioned in different places, in different Puranas. I remember reading about this. I don't know exactly which Purana, but it mentions actually there are 48 important places. So in these 12 forests, these are just the vanas, right? The forests. There are upavanas, which are sub-forests. There are prativanas, and there are also adhivanas. So there are actually 48. And in that, maybe they are there, Prabhu. I don't know. I have not studied yet. But in these two forests that you mentioned, Rangadevi and Sudevi forests, they are not in these 12 forests. These are pastime places of Krishna. And on the western side is under the jurisdiction of Krishna. On the eastern side of the Yamuna, the 5 forests are under the jurisdiction of Balaram. That's what is mentioned.
Jai.
Hope that answers, Prabhu. Okay.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, we can stop with that. Actually, I forgot to ask if anyone else has any questions, but I think we are almost time. So I can take it offline if you have any questions related to my presentation. And thank you very much for listening. We can stand up and prepare now for Guru Puja. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Paye Chake Bhav. Namashrestham Manumapi Sachiputramatra Swarupam Shri Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasa Prapto Yasya Pratiha Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. He Guru Jnana Dina Bandho Swananda Data Karunaika Sindho Vrindavanasina Hitavatara प्रसीद राधा प्रणय प्रचार हे दीनबन्धो करुणैक सिन्धो कुरु प्रसादं मयि मण्डमूढे लक्षापराधे बहुपापगाधे तत्पादपद्मे स्तुमतिश्च कृष्णे नैवोपयन्ति अपचितं कवयस्तवेष ब्रह्मायुषापि कृतमृधनुडः स्मरन्तः योऽन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृताम् अशुभं विधुन्वन् आचार्य चैत्य वपुषा स्वगतिं व्यनक्ति. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Sachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radhakund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense mirror of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus feet. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Mui Savadana Mate Bando Mui Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai Eva Vatoriya Jai Jahara Prasade Bhai Eva Vatoriya Jai Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoyte. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoyte. Guru mukha padma vakya chitte koriya kya. Guru mukha padma vakya chitte koriya kya. Arna kori ho mane asha. Arna kori ho mane asha. Shri Guru charane rati aise uttama gati. Shri Guru charane rati aise uttama gati. Je prasade pure sarva asha. Je prasade pure sarva asha. Chakudan dilo je janne janne Prabhu se. Chakudan dilo je janne janne Prabhu se. Divya gyan hriday prakashito. Divya gyan hriday prakashito. Prema bhakti chaha hoite avidya vinasha chate. Prema bhakti chaha hoite avidya vinasha chate. Vedika chahara charito. Vedika chahara charito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamachanara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamachanara Bandhu. Lokanath Loke Rajivana. Lokanath Loke Rajivana. Mahaprabhu Goro Doya Deho More Pada Chaya. Mahaprabhu koro daya deho more pada chaya. Ebijastu shudri bhuvana. Ebijastu shudri bhuvana. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jara Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Sai Gora Hari Bol. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Ashtotar Chakra Shishimad Srila Vaichnarvanda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Ashtotar Chakra Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Namachar Srila Das Thakur ki Prem Sakahur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kanda Radha Ganikir Govardhan ki Vrindavan Mathur Dham ki Mayapur Jagannath Puri ki Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. We would like to thank Her Grace Rasesvari Mataji for leading us the japa session in the morning starting at 6:15 a.m. and also the subsequent Bhagavatam class, and she spoke on the forests of Vrindavan. Thank you, Rasesvari Mataji. I am always looking forward for your classes. I've been attending your past classes also, and whenever I attend the next class, I look forward to your next class. So I'm looking forward for your next class. And we also thank her son, Nitai and Nimai, for singing us the Guru Puja Kirtan and the Kirtans, Guru Puja and Kirtans. Thank you, Nitai and Nimai. Are there any Sankirtan announcements? Anyone from Sankirtan team here? Okay.
Hare Krishna. So, devotees will be going out for distributing Chaitanya Charitamritas. Rohini Dulal Prabhu and will be going, right? And team ICC Cupertino will be going. We have a goal of 250 Chaitanya Charitamritas, and also Western Sankirtan team will be going. It's raining, so we'll put the spots in the our WhatsApp groups. If you would like to join, please contact me or Achyut Balram Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We would also like to thank Her Grace Krishangi Mataji for covering the broadcast starting from 6:15 a.m. in the morning, and also our cooks who are still cooking back in the kitchen, Yashoda Kurpa Prabhu and his team. Thank you. Okay. So now let's go into the Prasadam prayers.
Sharira Vidya Jal Jodindriya Karika Jive Fele Vishaya Sabore Arati Jivayati Gobhama Shudhumati Take Jita Katina Samsare Krishna Bhadra Doyama Kori Bari Vikajai Sakasarana Dilokar Seyana Mritapao Radha Krishna Gunagao Teke Dako Chaitanya Nita Teke Dako Shri Chaitanya Nita Bhagat Ji Mahaprasad ki jai. Please.
Hare Krishna, Prasadam will be served in this room in just a few minutes. After you make your plate, you can bring your plate into the temple room and you can honor